Hey everyone, we're back with a new version of our product variant swatches. This time because Shopify released a new version of their Shopify themes, version 15 of Dawn, Sense, Refresh, Origin, and so on. And as many of you have noticed, our previous version, version 3 of the swatch video, isn't compatible with it. And so we're fixing that in this video. We'll talk about when you might want to use the native swatches instead of this customization. We'll go over a demo of the customization, and then we'll share all the instructions and code so that you can add it to your store. But before we start, I just want to thank you for watching these videos. If you're new here, we share lots of tutorials on how to use Shopify, including adding your own customizations to give it features that just aren't available out of the box. And we give this all to you for free. So all I ask in return is for you to subscribe so that we can keep making these videos for you. And also, if you need personalized help, you can book a call to hire us. Check out theprompted.co. Okay, let's look at our product swatches. Okay, so let's start by talking about the native swatches from Shopify and why you might want to still use this customization, even though Shopify offers a version of swatches. So if you weren't aware, category metafields have finally been released in the Shopify admin, which was the final piece to get native swatches to work. You'll have this if you're using version 13 or higher of Dawn or any of the other free Shopify themes. If you're curious on how to use it, check out the Dawn version 15 update. I do a quick demo in the second half of the video of how to use these swatches. But even though the swatches are available, they lack some features that I would have liked to see, which our customization addresses. And so some of those limitations, if you're using the native Shopify swatches, are the following. So first, if you want swatches for a variant besides color, then you're out of luck. And then if your product category doesn't have color as a category metafield, you're also out of luck, unless you choose a wrong category on purpose. And then finally, there's no support for collection page swatches. So if you're in a situation where those issues don't affect you, then check out native swatches. It might be exactly what you're looking for. But if you need more from your swatches, then follow along with this tutorial. So let's start by doing a demo of this customization, and then we'll get into the instructions. Okay, so here's our demo store, and here are the swatches. You can see some different things going on here. So first, you have the variant image, right? So inside of the swatch. So this image here is just in the swatch here. You got your white image in the swatch as well. You have solid, just solid colors, right? So there's red and there's black. And you also have just an entirely different image, right? So you have three different options here. You can set it to the variant image, you can set it to a solid color, or you can set it to any image that you want. You also have the option to use it for variant options besides color. So here we've got material, and you've got your polyester, and you've got cotton, and so you can choose other variant options besides color to add these swatches in. And that's something that the native swatches from Shopify doesn't support. You also have the option to put two different variant options with swatches, right? And so again, with the native version, you only get the color, and that's the only option that you get. Here you can stack them, you can have two different ones. So that's sort of the quick demo of what it looks like on the site. Let's head over to the theme editor and go to the product page, and we can look at some of the settings. And so if we go to the variant picker here, we have this custom swatch area that we've added in. So the standard swatches, the native swatches are controlled here. We've added this custom swatch section. So we can change the shape, right? We can make it a square. We can turn it off entirely if we don't want it. And then we can also change the size, make it bigger and smaller. And then we also have a reference here to a meta object, which defines how these swatches are being shown. So what's inside them. If you're coming from version 3 of our product swatches, the settings here and really the function have not changed. We've just made it compatible with Dawn version 15. But if you're new here, I just want to go through all of these settings again so that you don't have to go back to the previous version to understand what's going on. But that's essentially it. That's our product swatches. And so if you want to add this to your store, then we'll move on and go through the instructions and the code on how to get this in. And I'll give you everything you need, so don't worry about it. I'll guide you through it step by step. Okay, so we're in our themes area. We've just installed a fresh new version of Dawn, and we're going to add our customization to here. This is Dawn version 15. So this customization is compatible with Dawn version 15. But if you're on an older version, let's say version 14, then you're going to have to look at the previous video, version 3 of our product swatches. There's been some changes between version 14 and 15, so we had to make an update to get everything to work and be compatible with 15, which means it doesn't work with 14. The first thing we're going to need to do is create some meta objects and metafields. If you did the previous version, so version 3 of our product swatches, you actually don't need to do this because you've already done it, and we're just updating the code for Dawn version 15. But if you haven't, then I'll just guide you through it quickly on what to do. So we're going to go to settings, we're going to go to custom data, and then we're going to meta object definitions, and you're going to add a definition. And then you'll fill out the details here. Now, we've already created the meta object in our case, so I'll just open that up so that you can see, so that you can see what you need to do. So let's go back to custom data. And there's the variant swatch map. So you're gonna create this meta object here. So you're gonna call it variant swatch map. You're gonna create the first field. It'll be the title. It'll be called title, and it's gonna be a single line text. And it's gonna have this regular expression here, which is going to set the naming convention that is allowed for your title. And that's to prevent creating a name that the code, because the code's gonna reference the title, it's gonna prevent it from creating a title that the code can't properly read. And then the second field you're gonna add is a JSON, right? And it's gonna be called variant images JSON. And then you're gonna copy and paste this format here, right? And you can find that on our instructions link with all the code. So you can just copy and paste that in there. Okay, so once you've created your meta object, then you're gonna create a meta field with that meta object. So let's take a look at that now. And so we're gonna go to products, and then you're going to add definition, and you will create the meta field. Now we've already created this meta field. It's called variant swatch map override. So when you create your meta field, you just call it this, variant swatch map override, and then you make it type meta object, and then select the variant swatch map. And so it should look like this afterwards. And this is going to be used in your products if you want to have an override. If, say, certain products should have a special swatch or different from the main one, then you can use this. And so we'll take a look at what that means a little bit later. But for now, just create this meta field. And then once you've created your meta object and your meta field, then you can come back out, and then you go into your content area, and then go to variant swatch map, and then you can add an entry. And then, so this is what it will look like. It'll just be a title and an image, a JSON, variant images JSON. And then you just add your two, those are the two fields we created with the meta object definition. But we've already actually done this, so I'll just show you what it looks like. Call it variant swatch mapping. And then copy and paste the example JSON code into here, and then you can modify it with your specific situation. So in this case, it might look something like this, right? We have the variant name is color and material, but for you, maybe you're using something different. Maybe you're using style or something like that, but it should match your variant option name. So if we go to the products, the variant option name is color in this case. And so that's what that is supposed to show, color. And then the variant value should match your variant values in here. So you got black, blue, green, red, white. And then we have blue, green, black, red, and I guess we don't have white in there, but that's fine. And so if you want to specify something, it has to match exactly. And then the variant swatch should be a file that you've uploaded into your files, right? So, and it has to match the file name exactly, including the extension. So in this case, we've got bluerose.jpg. That's a file that's in our files area. So you can see here, this is our bluerose.jpg file. And then you also have the option to add a variant hex, right? And so this is going to be a color swatch that will make the solid color inside of your swatch. And so those are the different options. If you don't specify a swatch here, then it will default to the variant image. If you specify an image, then it will show the image. And if it can't find an image, then and you do have a hex in there, then it will go to the hex. So the priority, the order of priority is going to be the image, then the hex, and then the standard variant image. And so that's how it's going to work. If it finds an image, it's going to put the image in. If it can't find an image, it's going to look for a hex code. If it can't find a hex code, it will default to the variant image. And that's why if you don't put white there, then it's fine. It'll just default to the white variant image because it couldn't find the other two. And so that's how that works. You're just going to have to adapt this to your own store, but that's how you control what the swatches will look like on your store. So if you've already done this customization before, then you already know how all this works. But if you're new here, then then you're just going to need to use this JSON file to control your swatches. Okay, so now that you've done that, we can go back to our online store area, and we can actually first just view the store, and we can see here if we go to our t-shirts, there's no swatches available. If we go to customize default products, variant picker, you can see here those options are not available. So fresh new theme, we're going to add everything in now. Now before you start, if you're working on a theme that already has some changes, just make sure to duplicate your theme before starting. In this case, I can't because I already have reached the theme limit. So I'd need to remove a theme first before I can duplicate. But this is a fresh new theme, so I'm not too concerned about that. But for you, if you are working on a theme that already has some changes, just please duplicate it. So in case anything goes wrong, you can always go back to your previous version without trying to troubleshoot what went wrong. Okay, so let's edit code now. And in here, if you've done the version 3, you actually, a lot of the code is exactly the same, but you can maybe just copy and paste and replace the existing code just to make sure everything's clean. But if you're new here, then yeah, just follow the instructions and you should be able to add the swatches by the end of it. So let's start off with the main product.liquid file. And in here, we're going to go all the way to the bottom near the schema. So I'm just gonna look for the word picker and we're gonna keep moving. Okay, so here, this is the variant picker and we're adding our settings into here. So this is where the swatch shape customization settings are. So if you remember, we can actually go back. So in the variant picker settings, we have here the swatch, circle, square, none. That's what we're seeing here. Swatch, shape, circle, square, none. And we're going to add a couple settings underneath it. So we're going to copy and paste our settings right into here. And then we're going to save. And if we refresh, we should see some additional settings show up. Okay, so we've got now our new settings in here, but none of this is going to do anything just yet because we haven't added the additional code to look at what these settings are to affect the rest of the theme. So let's do that now. Okay, so we are going to go to the next file, which is the product variant picker.liquid file. and we're going to look for this loop right here, for option in product.option with values. And we're going to copy and paste some code just above it. And we're going to also copy some code below it. We're going to look for this option here, picker type button. And let's just create a little bit of space below this field set before the else here, and then paste our code in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our field set and place it right in here as the existing code. Okay, and now we can save. Next, we're going to create a brand new snippet. We're going to call this product variant swatch custom. And we're going to copy and paste our code into here and save. We're going to create a new asset. So we'll create a blank file. We're going to call this component product variant swatch custom. And we're going to copy and paste our code into here and save. And then now we're going to go into the product.info.js file. And then in here, we're going to be looking for this connected callback method of the product info class. And then we're going to add a call to a new method right here. And then we're going to add our new methods in here as well. So we're just going to go underneath this connected callback, and we'll place our new methods right here. So now we're calling this new method here. And so this is one of the changes in Dawn version 15 on how variant changes are managed. They're now in product.info.js instead of the global.js file. So no changes needed to global.js. If you have previously done changes in the global.js file for the previous version of our swatches, then you're going to want to remove those and only do this here. Okay, so those are all the code changes. Now, if we come back to our demo store and refresh, nothing is going to happen. And that's because we need to go back to our theme settings and actually turn it on. And so here we can say set it to circle. And we can see here now the swatches have turned into circles or squares, for example. And so we can just save that. And we can refresh. And there we go. We have our swatches on our store, fully functional. Now, if we want to do a couple of things, like let's say we want to change this blue into like a solid blue instead of this image, we can go back to our meta object, variant swatch map, and go to our variant swatch mapping. And let's say remove the blue rows here, and then add the variant hex underneath it. Blue, what is... Okay, so the blue hex code is 0000FF. Now, just watch out. If you are using the variant hex version here, you still need to have the variant swatch in here, but just make it blank so that it can't find the image, and then add this in. So if you take this away entirely, you're going to get an error because it's expecting to find it. So just make sure you keep that in there. Okay, so let's save, and then we can refresh. And there we go. Your variant is now a solid blue. The other thing we can do is we can actually create a very product-specific variant swatch mapping. Okay, so let's open up a different product. Okay, and so here we have these sweatpants, and you can see here that the swatches are actually different, right? All products are supposed to be reading this variant swatch mapping. That's why we have it as the default variant swatch map here. But if you have a product that uses the override meta field that we created earlier, which I'll show you right now. So we're going into the prompted text sweatpants that we were just looking at, and we're going to come to the bottom, and we can see here variant swatch map override, and we've set this to original sweatpants. And so in here, this is another mapping, and so we can actually do a custom mapping for individual products if the if you want the swatches to look different. And this is going to be important. Let's say if you have different products that have the same variant name. So like, let's say this is a black and this is a black, but your blacks are slightly different. Maybe it's a different shade or the image you want to show is a little bit different. Then you can actually customize that to be different per product. This is actually a feature that also isn't available in your native Shopify swatches. So this is another reason why you might want to use this customization. Okay, so that's everything. You should now have your own custom swatches on your product page that you can use for any variant option, and you can customize it to your own liking. You can use it for multiple variant options. You can use the hex code, images, the default variant image, and you can also have it specific for different products. So you can have a set of swatches that will show up on one product and a different one for a different product. This customization is actually the base for adding additional features like the collection swatches or combined listings with swatches. So if you're interested in those, check them out. And again, if you need any personalized help for your store and you want to hire us, check out theprompted.co and you can book a call with us there. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you, and I'll see you in the next one.